Hey folks, and welcome back to the finale of Let's Play Batman Arkham Asylum. Right off the bat, ignore the terrible pun, I show off the catch achievement that I talked about a little bit last time. All you have to do is use the remote control Batarang and, use it like a boomerang to actually catch it yourself. And that nets you a slightly missable but very easy achievement. Looks like the visitor center has been built, so let's enjoy the scene.
Let's see, A, no, that's not right. So it's a B, Bane.
Ah, here it is, Batman.
I like how Batman's written across the entire page.
Looks like you're the guest of honor. Give him a big welcome, guys.
Alrighty, so if you've noticed in the background, throughout the last few objectives we've had around the island, a pretty special song has been playing, and it's very reminiscent of something like Frank Sinatra or another very old school artist like that. And I was always very intrigued. I wanted to know what it was, right? And looking at the game files, I can't really seem to find the real source, but it definitely does seem to be made specifically for the game. I believe they named the track Irresistible, and yeah, I think that's very cool. That said though, we're entering the visitor center now, and we're also entering the last and one of the few actual missable achievements. And because this is the end game and you can't really return to this point, or I guess this section of the story, once you complete it, even though free roaming is available, you'll never be able to see these guys in this room again. You have a big party waiting for you of bad guys, so to speak, and if you beat them all up, you earn the party pooper achievement. And yeah, because otherwise they actually won't touch you at all. They'll just clap and welcome you because you're the guest of honor after all. So yeah, if you deal with all of them, you'll unlock one of the definitely missable achievements, as I said again. But yeah, this can be a really tough fight. I mean, it's a very small enclosure and there's a ton of enemies. I started off with the Bat Claw and the Proximity explosive gel, and even still, even though that knocks out most of the guys, at least temporarily, unless you take your time to actually take down 2 or 3 right off the bat. I can't stop making that joke, man. Unless you take your time to actually take some of them out, they will surround you, and that's when you really tend to lose fights in this game, if ever. That's really gonna be the bane of your existence when it comes to fighting sections. No matter how good you are, the game, at least Arkham Asylum, maybe the sequels are, but this game isn't as fluent and is definitely prone to errors when it comes to fighting sections, especially in small areas. So yeah, this one might actually give you some trouble. And it's also a good place to pick up all the free flow combo trophies. I mean, I think that's important to mention. Okay, so in the visitor's room, for the first time we're actually in first person mode. And we could have visited this room throughout the playthrough as the visitor center was being built, but I decided to show it off for the ending.
Not been looking forward to it. I know I have. Surprise! Everyone always said I should be in television. You don't want to miss this, really.
I think it's also important to mention that throughout the visitor's room, before this part of the game, Joker stands there with the TV in front of him as he gives you messages, and only now it's revealed that it's actually been him and not like a mannequin behind the mirror or the double glass. So yeah, that was, I suppose, the point of that scene if you've never visited the room before. Also, the perception of height is very badly made, I feel, because if you compare Batman's height in this game to the Joker while we're looking at him and we're just standing up and he's not on an elevated platform or anything, we just seem like a very short person. and that was definitely an error, I think.
Why didn't you stop Batman? Me? It was your plan, you goofy clown. I'm sending you back to the ventriloquist where you belong. You had to spoil everything, didn't you? Beating up Bane, feeding Scarecrow to Croc, slapping around Harley, my hobby, by the way, and ruining all my lovely Venom plans.
It's over, Joker.
Over? Why, my dear delusional Dark Knight, it hasn't even begun.
So, ventriloquist's little buddy Scarface makes another appearance in the game, I guess. This seems to be the Joker's favorite villain. And yeah, I think it's really cool that they included something like Scarface in the game at so many points, because if you remember, he's narrated the last Scarecrow, I suppose, special level boss fight, whatever you want to call it. And now he actually makes an appearance, well, I was about to say in the flesh, but in the wood, I guess. Anyway though, we have our last fighting section of the game. Looks like these guard titans, some of the security staff in Gotham again, or in Arkham Asylum rather, has been injected with the Titan formula, and now we're fighting more of the good guys, more of the guards. The change between the Titans is completely aesthetic, and they don't gain more health by having these vests on. They just, you know, they just look more cool. And I think they wanted to go for a little bit of an ironic look that the guard Titans in a prison area are the only chained up Titans that you see the whole game. Or maybe I just noticed that. But other than that, as I said, nothing of their attributes actually changes with their look. And it's pretty much a similar Titan fight like we've had before, but it's a very open room, which is good. And yeah, other than that, it's just a similar fight. So I decided to save you literally 5 minutes of time, because there's quite a few enemies here. And as you can tell, I'm not in the best shape when it comes to performing this section, in this recording at least. So yeah, at the end it was getting real hectic, and I was one hit away, one punch away from just a henchman from getting a game over. And I didn't get a lot of those in this playthrough, so I was happy that I could make it through. Spoiler alert. But yeah, this room is actually very neatly designed. My only gripe with the design of the room is that you actually get stuck on all the little bones next to all the prison cells if you run into them.
Nicely done, Bats. You deserve a prize. Your old pal, Commissioner Gordon. Say, he looks all run down. Let's pep him up.
No! Batman! Get away!
Here we go. We're gonna have some fun now, kiddies. You're trying to resist the change. That's not fair. Come on, get in. So, you want to play hardball, Bats, do you? Your call. Pickle, pickle. No! Oh, you're ruining my big night! Months of planning down the crapper! I just wanted to bring down your grim facade and for once let you see the world as I see it, giggling in a corner and bleeding. But you've denied me even that. I have nothing to live for.
Arkham Asylum remains under lockdown, its staff at the mercy of the rampaging inmates. Just 10 minutes ago, we received this taped message.
Greetings, Gotham! Joker here! Arkham is mine! Soon I'll unleash madness untold onto the streets of Gotham. But first, direct your eyes to the rooftops and witness the final destruction of your dear Dark Knight.
We've been circling the tower since the... Wait! There! Joker is making his move!
Showtime, Batman! Let's give the room something to talk about! Ha! Two freaks in a fight to the death! And for one night only, please welcome our special guest referee, come on! Change! Get crazy! It's the only way to beat me! You know you want to. Never. You wasted the antidote on yourself? Now that's funny! Hysterical! But you still spoil my fun, and for that, I'll paint Arkham with your blood. Let's get ready to tango!
Alrighty, and welcome to the final battle with the Joker. Looks like the news chopper has been flying around in the air. Everyone in Gotham City is aware at this point of what's been going on at the asylum the whole night through. And yeah, definitely an intense situation. Right off the bat, again, the design of this room is absolutely beautiful. The floor, Joker's face, the walls, everything around it. It's actually the game that it reminds me of is one of the introductory fighting sections in The Warriors, which is a game adaptation for the film. And that's what the tutorial battle there looks like, more so than anything. But yeah, this is a very cool section, and I suppose as a boss fight or as a final boss, slightly underwhelming, but even still, it's actually really cool. You know, the design of the fight, the gauntlet type style of the enemies that keep coming to you in waves. The only thing that's missing is a real imposing boss, right? Because he is pretty much a titan. You know, the cutscene is incredibly cool, but other than that, the fight is really... After a single... I really... It's kind of difficult to put into words what I'm trying to say, right? It's hard to be eloquent when it's something slightly, you know, slightly disappointing with cool visual design. I guess just kind of hollow, if you know what I mean. After you take out its first third of its health, the fight pretty much stays the same with tougher opponents and just more annoying trinkets to deal with, like these Joker teeth. Other than that, the only difference, at least on normal mode, being is that you have, you know, you have one enemy who has knives, and then every now and again, the Joker's henchmen will start going for the weapon lockers that are actually on the walls as well, that you probably haven't noticed up until now. And yeah, the only annoying part of the fight is the fact that if you get interrupted while batclawing the Joker, who's usually talking to the news and, you know, screaming at the chopper, if you get interrupted during that, the whole wave of enemies resets. And yeah, that's really the only thing that's annoying, right? It happened right here to me, and that's why I wanted to show it off. This time around, I made sure to actually use a ground takedown or a combo takedown. And all you have to do is pull him down using your bat claw, just like you would the vent or, you know, any weak wall in the game. And then all you do is punch him 3 times, and that takes out the other third of the health. And it's pretty much rinse and repeat. And like I said, for a final boss, something we've been building up to all night, it's just a little bit disappointing. And I think they definitely noticed that, looking at the future of the games. But even still, I think it's a huge lapse in judgment from the game designers to think that a final boss, especially someone like the Joker, and somebody, you know, whose story-wise has been taunting Batman all night leading up to this big event. You've seen the Visitor Center getting slowly built bit by bit throughout the game. The Joker face next to the penitentiary. And then when you show up, sure, it's a cool design, there's a chopper overhead. You have this octagon with electrical fences all around it so you can run into walls. That's great, but other than the pretty packaging, man, the boss fight has no substance. It's just another glorified Titan fight. But again, the Joker looks great, you know? He's beautifully designed as a Titan, but other than that, come on, you know, give us something else. That's my, you know, that's one of the only complaints that makes this game not a 10 out of 10, but more so like a, genuinely like an 8.
I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never. I'm fine, Barbara. The GCPD finally has control of the asylum. Doctors are treating the injured, but it looks like it'll take some time. All super criminals are back in custody. Quite a mess in there. And the venom-enhanced inmates are returning to normal. Though for some, the process can be quite painful.
Dad, how are you doing?
I'll survive. See you tonight, Barbara. Shame about your car. Can I give you a ride?
Thanks, Jim, but I have one on the way.
Get some rest. You deserve it.
Second National Bank was just robbed by Harvey Dent, aka Two.
Stay safe, Jim.
2 officers down. The suspect is fleeing in their patrol car.
And that's it, folks. That's Batman Arkham Asylum for you. We're now onto the credits section, and it's one of the games with the longest credit sections I've ever seen, to be honest. But I think it's good at the same time. It gives me time to reflect on the project, to speak my thoughts on not only the Let's Play itself, but also to this hobby I've started and the evolution of the episodes and how I've improved overall. I think it's definitely interesting, and I definitely do have the plans to continue on the Batman series when it comes to Arkham, sometime in the future, of course, right? I'm not planning on doing City right away, because I think that would license me more so like a Batman channel or a Batman YouTuber, more so than just a Let's Player, and that's why I plan to keep it hidden away somewhere, and I'll work on it in the background as time progresses. I think it's also important to note that, you know, it gives me more time to prepare for longer games, because if you're a fan of the Arkham series, you know that as the games evolved, so does the side content and the side quests and the collectibles, and I wouldn't want to jump into a game that I don't know perfectly like the back of my hand like I do Arkham Asylum. That said though, looking back over at the project, I have been doing a lot of reflecting in preparation for this last episode, and I think it's kind of cool to see how I've gone from being certainly more nervous in front of the camera, or the microphone rather, and from the first few episodes, and the choppier video quality that's been going on in the earlier episodes, as well as the audio quality really, and knowing how to balance the storyline and the audio levels and all of that. It's been a growing process, definitely growing pains that you can see progress throughout these 5 to 6 weeks that this Let's Play has taken me to complete. And honestly, in preparation, because I had no concept of how long a Let's Play would take, let alone this game that sometimes could take me very, very long to complete, especially in my first few runs, compared to now that I know it almost damn near perfectly. I had no idea. I couldn't put a time frame on how long or how many videos it would take for me to fully complete, but I'm definitely satisfied. And I guess that the perfectionist in me sort of looks at some of those videos kind of slightly aggravated, thinking to myself, damn, I wish I could just go back and redo this episode, commentary or video wise, because I've learned so much. I've gotten so much useful feedback from everybody watching, or just checking in for a few times to give me some advice, and I really do appreciate that. It's helped me out immensely to really pinpoint what I want and should, or definitely must improve on. And so everyone's been very helpful, and the support of the series has been incredible, right? Especially in this climate of YouTube, I never expected to get so much support so early on in the very beginning. But now that we've beaten the game, once you get out of this very, very long, lengthy credit sequence, you'll see that you've unlocked the armored batsuit for the challenge mode. Sadly, you can't use it in your regular playthrough if you're just trying to play through the story again. But if you want to complete the challenges, if you're going for all the achievements, you'll be able to choose between the batsuit we've had, the regular Batman costume that we've had all game, and the new armored one, which I think looks just much cooler. Other than that, I think it's kind of important to mention that there are some secret endings to this game, which we'll see coming up. Of course, it's a post-credit scene, so much like a Marvel movie, you probably don't want to miss out. I mean, at the very least, this isn't the cinema. You can just skip to the very end and see all 3 of them. I decided to include all 3 secret endings because, they're not really featured in any particular order, or, there's nothing special you have to achieve to unlock a certain ending. So I decided to cut them all into the video. Again, it's a little bit confusing even for me that you don't have to do anything special like a New Game Plus, which doesn't even exist for this game, to unlock a different ending. But really, it seems to be quite random. Originally I thought that it's based on difficulty, but turns out the more I read, the more people I talk to, it does seem to be completely random to what ending you're shown at the end, which again doesn't make sense, but hey. Out of the 3 possible endings, because I don't want to spoil too much, you'll see some of the villains that we've defeated throughout this Let's Play, and to see that they're still alive and kicking. We've obviously seen Poison Ivy and the Joker in the ending sequence with Commissioner Gordon, and he got kidnapped somehow again, even though we sent him back on ferry across the river to go back to safety. But sure, whatever, I'm not gonna argue that. But yeah, again, we're gonna see 3 villains that haven't been so fortunate in their endeavors to defeat Batman tonight. If, you know, we're talking about this one evening that this game took place in. And again, they're completely random, but they do, in a way, tell the story of those characters and let you know that, hey, there's something after this game. And these characters are still very much alive and kicking, and they're, you know, they've gotten their hands on some pretty scary stuff. But again, that's a story for the very end of the video where the post-credits clips will be featured. Other than that, you know, aside from just saying thank you so much for all the support and me being very proud of my achievement of finishing my first Let's Play, other than all that, I want to talk about my upcoming project, because again, probably I wouldn't do that otherwise, but this credit sequence is very long. So yeah, as you guys know, or as you've probably guessed, I'll be doing more Let's Plays after this one. This wasn't one hitter quitter for a YouTube channel. I'll be playing some more series, some different games, perhaps completely shifted narrative from something like Batman or even new style game. But yeah, that will be starting up as soon as I'm prepared for it. I'm doing a test playthrough as well as gathering as much information I can. That said, it's probably a game from my favorite series of all time, and it's a game I already know very well, thankfully, just like this one. So, you know, the preparations won't take anything crazy like a month or something, but if I were you, I'd expect to, you know, I would be confident in saying that if you checked back in a week or 10 days or something like that, the next series will be up and running at that point. And again, it's one of my favorite near and dear games to my heart, and yeah, I can't wait, you know. But the thing is, that game does feature the way or the style I want to present it in. It does feature a lot more video editing in a way that I haven't been really used to or had to do, at least for this series, because this one is more than, you know, more like a regular video game where you just watch and all of your information is on the screen already. This game isn't like that, so I want to do a little bit more of a creative layout setup for the game, and yeah, that might take me some time. Again, that's why there will be a delay of a week to a week and a half. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Again, thank you so much for sticking by this Let's Play. Thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, all the good jazz. Again, the support has been crazy. If you want to see updates or you want to just directly chat with me, you can do so if you actually look in the description. And you can hit me up on Twitter anytime you'd like. I spend a lot of time here. I follow all my favorite YouTubers that I watch. So yeah, I've never mentioned it before, but that's my only social media presence, I suppose, other than Reddit, that I use actively. So yeah, if you're interested, my Twitter's in the description. But other than that, I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say. Have a good one, guys. Have a safe week, the week and a half, and enjoy the end of the credits and all the secret endings to this game. Until next time, my name is Ardentex, and I'll see you later, folks.